Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Shombhit Sengupta.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Arun, to invite me and Sangeeta. And can I ask you one question? What is this? No answer. No? We have all talked on the top of the infrastructure. We have not talked about what is the hidden element under the all infrastructure. So, next slide I show you. And it was started in 14th century. It is the sewage of Paris. It's a very famous sewage. And whole Paris city. I'll be talking Paris because I grew up there, and I will give you some, my understanding and what happened with the building infrastructure and the city plan. So this is and very often when my friends come to France, I take them. There is a place called Égout de Paris. You can visit the whole, the sewage in Paris. It's lots of intellectual goes there to spend their time for thinking. It's one kind of thinking place, but it is a sewage. Now this is a gentleman, the provost, who was started in 1370, and it is very funny, how they used to clean this sewage. They used to have a huge, big size, round shape one stone, and with the huge water, they used to pass inside and to clean the sewage. Now, you see, this is the most famous road in the Paris, Champs-Élysées, Arc de Triomphe. Could you imagine? There are the 12 roads, and when you are driving there, you have to really understand how from here biggest junction called Place de l'Étoile, and then this is the 70. Now this place, this tile, where you see that this shape on this style of design, it took only 17 years. I will tell you who did it, and he was not an architect, and he was a prefect. And then see this is one of the beautiful, the landscape which you find in the left side of Paris, in the west of Paris, called Bois de Boulogne. And here, it's the same thing, that for Central Park, it's in the 8 times they came to study this, this landscape to make the Central Park. Then, this is the diagonal in Paris. One of the most famous thing happened, and lot of different countries they have taken it from there. Now we have the Chicago diagonal influenced by Paris. So, boulevard, square and parks, if you look at, then all these countries, they have taken very serious attention from there, inspired from there to build up their places. That when you talk about the boulevard, just imagine in 19th century, and this kind of boulevard, it was really not conceivable, and it was not easy matter. It was a huge controversial thing because lots of, the disease and everything were in Paris, and poor people had to leave Paris. Anyhow, that city has been designed, and this is the boulevard, the creation of boulevard. And then you have the square. Then you have that, the beautiful park. Okay, this is Paris. Now, this is the man, the Eugene Haussmann. When you go to Paris, you will find lots of, roads and everything by Haussmann. And this man, one of the things, I studied a lot, when I was a student of École des Beaux-Arts of Paris, in the first initial year, we have to do the architecture also. Then his theory was that when you are making a city plan, you never look at the city from the ground. You have to create one space to go top, and from top you direct how you build up the city. That was one of the biggest thing, and I have discovered from whole his idea, and it took him only 17 years. And the way he has built up, any rational factor, beauty, or any kind of future development, and when in this kind of Haussmann building you put one lift, you can easily put a lift by reducing little bit the staircase, and lots of adaptability of the future was very, very strong. Now, just see, I show you that after the century, more than a century, then when you put a modern building like this as a cultural center, which is the cultural center of George Pompidou, see this building if you take in Dubai or New York, it will not have this charm. It has this Haussmannian architecture, and it has a totally different appearance here. So just imagine, this was the contemporary Paris, created in 1976, and this is the old Haussmann Paris. So you can see that how that one kind of consistency and coherency is there. Even this place, when you put something extremely contemporary, modern, and it creates a different type of image, it can a different type of vibration in a city. Now, I will come to more recent stage. This is an incredible gentleman. I know him personally. I think no monarch in France, they could have done what Jacques Lang has done, for not only for France, there are lots of things in the world. He was one of the most brilliant cultural and education minister. And from whole Mitterrand time, he was a cultural minister. He really, really transformed whole Paris. I just show you. See, Pyramid of Louvre, it was such a concept, where nowhere in the world you have any museum which has the collection less than 200 years, you cannot put the painting. Even Picasso's painting cannot go there. And making a totally different architecture. And what are the advantage created, this is a building and you can really go inside. And inside there are lots of gallery and lots of, the shops and everything created. One thing I will share with you, even Picasso didn't have the chance to have any exhibition in this place. Just listen to me what I am saying. Just imagine me coming from India, one Indian artist. I got the chance to have exhibition inside the Louvre 2 years back. I was invited. See, I show you the place here. This was my painting inside the Louvre. Just imagine this man's whole idea was how to create something for the art where the whole masses can come to there. Now, another thing, you have the Bibliothèque Nationale, the National Library, which is very old-fashioned, very nicely designed. But he has created, he has commissioned, this is the National Library. Just look at the 4 books here and the east of Paris. Now, this is another opera. When you go to Place de l'Opéra, you have the Opera Garnier, which is the old architecture, and now he has created Opera Bastille. And just imagine the idea of the location. Bastille is the most significant location of the fall of Bastille and all, which was totally demolished, and he made his opera house in front of that. Now, this is another incredible thing. It was his office, cultural minister office on the top, and in this place, what he has done, he has invited one artist, his name is Mr. Boudin, and to create some kind of installation art. And what he did, that with this kind of column, with the white and black, and this is the whole art, and it has become a huge point of interest. Nobody used to go before to see the cultural minister, the lobby or on this in this place. And this is just before opera you will find it. And now this is another thing. What I can tell you, you see, you have the politics, different opinion, public opinion, but consistency. 181 years of consistency. I will show you. What interesting thing. This was created our first Napoleon military victory in 1808. The second one, what you see in the Champs-Élysées, and this was at the 1836 for the the French Revolutionary and Napoleon War. Now, that this gentleman Jacques Lang with François Mitterrand, they have commissioned, and but just outside of Paris, La Défense, the humanitarian ideas, this monument. Now, just look at interesting part. After that, the whole La Défense development happened over there. But what is interesting, see, this is the whole route from here, 1808 to here 1836, and here 1989. Now, journey of 181 years, 9.8 kilometers, one straight line. You see, the symbol of the victory is such an interesting thing. This is called the coherency of the whole architectural plan. 181 years, just imagine. That's why today, and so many people has talked about, even Victor Hugo was not agreeing with what he was doing. That I don't know if you read about his book, Les Miserables. Miserables happened at that time when Haussmann was breaking whole Paris. Just look at the biggest tourist today, 90 million comes there for Paris, what kind of capital they have created. Now, some other thing also has created, that in 21st June, from 1981, he declared it will be the musical day, and everybody on the street, and India also has started. And among that, there are lots of things he has created, this gentleman. Now, what I can tell you, that so, according to me, there is the expertise and design. So, in the expertise, visionary concept with adaptability, then, high artistic sense with functional city plan. Everything was functional because it's still working today with the adaptability. The shock of the new, the world has seen totally a different city. Hitler was ready to destroy Paris city only for the 4 hours. the man who was protecting Paris from his side, he did everything while being German. He disturbed Hitler who should not destroy Paris. He went German, Nazi, he helped the French people, but he was killed later that Paris should not be destroyed. Extreme coherence in grandeur, mark of reference, blend of classic contemporary waves, then the value increase with age. And this is the thing all leading to a city that lasts, Now, what is the inherent identity of India? I left India when I was 19 years old. I'm coming from a slum-type refugee colony because I didn't have any very big idea about India. I left with $8, but I grew up in France. So when I come back, what I can see, one of the biggest things which really marked me, the inclusiveness of this country. You see, this picture I'm not showing it for any insult, I'm showing we don't fight, we don't revolt for that. This is the inclusiveness of our country, and that's a big, big thing, our Indian heritage we have. Then second thing, the abundance of color. Abundance of color, what you see in India, in the Western world, I grew there, but it is highly doctrinated, the colors. Every season, people declare what colors should come, and everybody wear like this. But in India, when you walk down on the street, you don't see often the two women wearing the same color of sari. This is another value. And another thing, which was very, very interesting for me, that I call it désordre in French. I tell you why. Because in English, disorder is a mental and physical, both disorder. But in French, désordre, the pronunciation is désordre, it's only object disorder, not mental. So I have taken these three elements as a very significant identity of India. And, from Dassault, people came to meet with me. I told them, these three things, if you don't like in India, then you will not love India. You have to love desert. You have to love, the kind of inclusiveness, because the West is not inclusive society. And you have to understand what is the value of that. If you don't like it, you will insult it. But if you understand that, you love it, then you understand what is India. Now, in my journey, I'm an artist painter, basically. How I have taken it, I will just show you very quickly. You see, I have created a painting style. Could you open this one, please? Could you open this one? I have created a painting style, and Sangita asked me to bring its style to show, which I call désordre. That means it's the first time in the world, and I have presented this type of painting in the Louvre Museum, that visitors can come and they can fix the thing totally the way they want. So, can you open it, please? See, could you come, Oliver, please come here. Come. I'll show you how my system can be used by human people. I just show you. One idea here is this. One idea is here. I can move the disorder. I can create different type of painting. It is movable. Everything 360 degree I can move. That means in your house, you have one day like this, and you can change. All the time you can change. And this is the whole disorder of India, what I bought in my painting. And now, I will invite some people, some friends, they will come, and they will put in order. Then you will see one olive tree will be there, and it is in Sardinia, the old history of this is the symmetry is a 5th century before BC. And how all these things go together, and one young man sitting there with a Nike shoe, and this will come. Could you please start, everyone? And they have to put the glass. I will continue my show, and you will see, and this is the whole idea of the disorder. That means I can put the disorder, but the disorder will find also the order. Why I am coming this way, then I don't find in your architecture plan, whatever you said, I totally agree, everything I have heard, but I don't see that you reflect in your architectural plan this Indianity, which I will be reinforcing now. This is my inclusiveness. This is the building what you see. This is the first church, Armenian church in Calcutta in the 14th century. And today in front of this church, they have given the space for the plastic bazaar. Then that is the mixture of the current situation and what used to be. This is my whole character of the inclusiveness. And the third, abundance of color. Renault invited me to paint a car. They are quit, and I have painted the car, the whole history of Bengal with the French Bengal and the Victorian Bengal I have recounted, and this car is traveling throughout the world now for different exhibition. Thanks to Arun who came to see my exhibition in December and with the inauguration of this car. Not only that, in Bombay, when I was having this exhibition, and it was the idea of put the car outside of the exhibition gallery. Thanks to Arun that he did everything for me that I could put my car outside of. That I'll tell later. Okay, so now, what is the outlook of 1 billion plus Indians? So you see, here you have the representation of 85% India. Their showroom is not the same, and there is a representative of 15% Indian. You see, the contrast is very, very high. And nowhere you will find in the new construction, new things, we take anything from here. We are abandoning completely this side. This has got a beautiful, very terrific charm this side. This is the real India. How do you take it in a different way, put it in a more modern form and more artistic way? That is a different job. But this is the whole idea. Then, see, this is the idea, this heterogeneity you do not have anywhere in the world. Nowhere in the world so many people, different type of language, religion, food, everything different, but we all live together. That is the biggest heterogeneity of this country. Okay. Now, then India's new city layout are Western model Cartesian. Cartesian, I don't know if you have heard about it, is René Descartes. He is defined in the French guy, 1596 to 1650, emphasized of the logical expression of the mathematical science, everything. So in the Western world, after that, everything is thought in a very Cartesian way. But Indian or new cities are getting too much Cartesian, which doesn't have any connection with the real value of India, according to me. Now, when you see this, I'm not criticizing anybody, but when you see that, and that could be anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world you go, you can find it. But where is the real value of our Indian inclusiveness, the color, and where you find this kind of element. So now, just last week, I had some French friends came. We were traveling to see Bangalore here and there, and suddenly they stopped me the car. They said, "Let's go there." They have seen the this kind of slum. They have seen this the how do you call how do you call it panel, solar panel here. And now I went there. I discussed with them. This guy is saying he's getting 8,000 rupees per month, but he cleans this house. But he's not allowed to stay there, but he stays here. And this is the lack of inclusiveness, and where you're not giving attention. And then what happened? Then you create, I have heard in your discussion also, you create one kind of desert, completely a separate universe from the real India and the new modern India. Okay, now if you go to any kind of layout, the same, and it is looking totally in America, it's not in India. Now, inclusiveness, abundance of color, desert, these are the represent India, where you will find. So another point, before I come to my conclusion, another point I want to make, that this is the one very important thing, this is a cloud mentality, that buying then sharing. And buying then sharing in all these YouTube, you don't buy the CD, then sharing the car, then you don't have the album, it is available in the net. Now, as a painter designer, here I take out what India needs. You see, the expertise, whatever I showed you, they are all expertise. And according to me, expertise comes from the intelligence. So when you are 25 years old, if you do not have 15 years advance your intelligence, then you cannot get the skill. Skill is very important. And the second is the design with exceptional artistic and environmental sense. Now, this is another factor, what I have seen, that Western society is a million country, and our country is a billion country, heterogeneous billion society. And when you superimpose the million countries idea in India, it can never work. Because we are the billion society, we are a totally different mentality. And we superimpose always on the million people, this Cartesian thing in our country. So the India, by doing that all, I think India lacks the expertise in lots of domains. So expertise in city plan, what I am saying, expertise, experience with ahead of time intelligence, then you have the expertise, then you treat the physical treatment and the psychological treatment. Why is it the physical treatment? Treatment is good. The doctor always gives the treatment to cure the patient, and when you are doing that, you should be always careful that what value it bringing to the society. That's why I'm talking about the treatment. And then, so Human need, you have the stated and unstated. And last 200 years, we have used all these things to destroy the planet. But respecting the green environment, it's a very important. I don't know why it has not started 200 years back. So artistic design integrated usability with scope of adaptability, because each time, every decade goes, the usability might change. And the digital world, everything will change. And with this, the product with physical treatment and product, what I'm saying product, even the architecture, everything is a part of the product, and the psychological treatment. These two things balance is the artistic design. One is the artistic design and the expertise. Now, what is my final direction I'm saying? Beauty of inclusiveness desert. So, high blend of social inclusiveness is expertise. Now, desert architectural view with non-conformist color. India is a non-conformist color. There is no dogma on the color. I have learned the color composition in a totally different way in the Western society. But when I take my painting with the Indian color I put in the Western society, they can imagine. They tell me in my last exhibition, say, that we don't have this kind of weather where I can see the colors. These are the topic. It has got a huge. The value of our country in this area is so huge. I will be exploring from here to another 10, 15 years to take all these elements to the world. Ability to regular change like my art. What art I am doing, and there should be, every day that you are having one system of your window on the north. Why not moving the whole building one place that one portion of the flat can be totally turned? And why you need a one system? We are doing something totally new. Don't create something where the whole world will come and have a look. Man-material ergonomic blend of usability. Now, how do you create the human relationship with your motor, beak and motor, and all these industrial things? These are all part of expertise. And intemporal artistic beauty of scope adaptability. When between what I showed you, the Osman character, and still today, it is the most costliest. And one thing, more you can do that, nothing in the world exists which valuation higher than a painting. Nothing exists. I give you one example. Modigliani painting, 1925, when you paint, how much it cost? Maximum 3,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees. Last year, 2015, how much is it was sold in the auction in New York? $174 million. Who bought it? Chinese bought it. So, more you create this value. That's when Osman architecture today, whatever you create modern, and prices are extremely high in Paris. And you will not have a modern facilities in the Osman house like today's house. The natural calamity proofs, well, this is the very rational, we cannot avoid. And dreamy switch. This is one of the things, what you do on the top, and if the bottom is not perfect, and it will not last. So, switch is another really very important. And I am talking about making the switch like a museum, where people can go, they can visit. And more people can visit this kind of place, then they will not spit on the road. They will understand to control the speed, they have created the switch. The switch is a very important. The friendly, elegant technology. Well, okay. So, this is my whole presentation, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your examples about our country was very interesting and really made me think, India today is a very organic and conscious mess. Everything seems to be wrong, but everything manages to happen. We are not a manicured garden, we are like a forest. It's because of this organic nature of our existence that invaders who came in waves through the last millennium did not know how to deal with us. They could not figure out what they could destroy in us to destroy our identity, because it is not any one thing, it is too complex. This complexity is the most fantastic thing that humanity has created, because it breeds a completely different dimension of humanity. It is just that we have to master it to produce results. People who think in a structured manner cannot understand the possibility of the chaos. One who is a product of a manicured garden would think the forest is chaotic. A garden needs constant tending. If you do not tend it for a few months, it's gone. But a forest has been there for millions of years, and it will continue to be there. This is the strength of complexity that one nurtures around them. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation. I now request Mr. Arun Nanda, Chairman, Mahindra Lifespace Developers Limited and Mahindra Holidays and Resorts India Limited, to hand over a token of our appreciation to Mr. Shombhit Sengupta.